Joining us now is Jeff Palermo, who is no stranger to the teams that will be seen this season. Jeff, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us today. How you doing, man?
Doing well, Quincy. Tom, pleasure to be with you as always.
Yeah, man. So when you think football, right, or when we all think football, like a lot of times we think it's, later in the season, there's a chill in the air, it's cold, but most importantly are the earlier games that are played during the warmer parts of the season. So what are some of the early season matchups that you're looking forward to?
Well, I think we got a hot one right off the bat, our first game of the season, and the calendar is a little bit different. So we're not kicking off that Friday of Labor Day weekend. It's actually going to be the following weekend after that. So September 6th, a very interesting game, Notre Dame versus Southside. Southside has a new football coach in Jess Curtis, who built a powerhouse at Manny High School all the way up in Northwest Louisiana, where he won 3 state championships there. He was at Natchitoches Central last year. Well, now he's made his way down to South Louisiana, and he's coaching at Southside, which is a relatively new school in the Lafayette area, and he is going up against a Hall of Fame coach in Louis Cook, who's coached for over 40 years, has won multiple state championships. Should be a very fun game to start off the season. Looking forward to that one. Notre Dame always has a really good team, and I think with Jess Curtis going to Southside, Southside has the potential to become a powerhouse. He's one of the best coaches in all of high school football, so it'll be very interesting to see how that all works out. And then week 2, you always want to try to save the best for last, but sometimes it doesn't work with scheduling. But week 2 might be our best game, Zachary and Acadiana. Those were 2 teams that played in state championship games a year ago. Those 2 teams are established powerhouses. Again, they've won multiple championships over the last 10 to 15 years, and that's a very, very fun non-district game. So 2 outstanding games to really kick off the season.
Right off the bat.
Jeff, you have every Friday and Saturday red circled on your calendar because they're all important games. What are some of the other matchups that you're really looking forward to this season on Yurview?
Well, we always love covering Lafayette Central. They're a fun team to cover. A lot of great athletes, a lot of kids that have made their way to LSU and beyond. And so they will be playing Central. That's a very interesting matchup. Very impressed with what we saw from Central a season ago with David Simino. This will be his second season this year. Central has that potential to become one of those power schools. They've been a decent school. They get into the playoffs. They just haven't really made a deep playoff run. We got them in a playoff game last year, and Central went to East St. John, and they upset the Wildcats. And I'm expecting them to go even a little further this season. Southern Lab Kaplan, I think, is a very interesting matchup. Southern Lab is a small school power. Kaplan, with Coach David Latif coming back there, I think Kaplan will once again be a really good team. That's going to be one of those games where you got just athletes all over the field throughout that one. And then you always have great rivalry games. We always get those in as well. Towards the end of the season, we got Walker versus Denham Springs. 2 teams where, no matter even what the records are, those two teams are going to be playing for bragging rights. So those are some of the fun games that certainly we have as the schedule continues on.
Yeah. Now you were talking about the rivalry games, right? So watching it on TV, that could be exciting, right? But talk about the excitement that's live and in living color right there in the stadiums. Like, what is the atmosphere like in those stadiums?
Well, Friday night football in Louisiana is something special. I really can't imagine doing anything else in the fall on a Friday night. It's just, in this time and age where just people are all have different priorities and different thoughts and different stances. This is one of the things in our country that we still kind of come together and rally around, our local high school or our alma mater, if you will, for some. And so that's what I love. You just, when you see the stands, they're just packed with people that are enjoying themselves, cheering on, whether it's the players on the field, in the band, cheerleaders, and then obviously rooting for their own team too. So just always a lot of fun.
Yeah, so
it's more than a game.
Yeah,
it is just a way of life in Louisiana.
Right, like is their shirts off and they got like spray paint, like like is it crazy like that?
I wouldn't say that. We do have some great student sections though in Louisiana. I mean, Denham Springs is one of those that always brings it every time we're there. They always have something going on in all the student bodies or the student body that they're dressed in some certain way, whether it's
Right.
a camouflage or some kind of theme that they have going on. But no, yeah, it is. It's truly Americana. It's what it is. I mean, you work, you go through the entire work week, and you're kind of waiting for Friday night to relax and kick off your weekend on the right way. And high school football is a great way to do it.
Yes,
And
sir.
it's also part of the way, as I said, a part of the way of life, just being here in the heart of, we'll call it the old SEC country, where it's big time college programs are out there recruiting these areas. They're recruiting these players. And some of these players have become household names. One that comes to mind right away, Arch Manning, who was on Yurview and now still on the bench in Texas. But what other players are we looking for? Who's going to be the next ones? And if you want to mention some of them that we should be looking for at college too, that graduated from your game time.
Well, once again, one of the things we try to do when we line up our schedules, obviously we get great matchups. We try to get the rivalry games, but we also want to showcase the future stars, right? We've been able to do that in the past. I mean, we've had the Justin Jeffersons of the world on our games. We have the Leonard Fournettes. They've been on our games as well. Just terrific players, guys that have gone on and done just great things, obviously, in the NFL and in college. So we always have those type of players. And this year it's no shortage of that once again. I mean, we have the top running back in the country for the class of 2025, St. Martin running back, Harlan Berry, one of the best names in all of high school football. This kid is electric when he gets the football in his hands. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Barry Sanders in that he's got a lot of shifts. He's got a lot of moves. He's heading to LSU. This will be the third consecutive year we've had him. And it's one of those things when he gets the ball in his hands, you're like, okay, what's he about ready to do? It's that kind of breathtaking in a sense, because he can take it to the house anytime he gets the football. So we got St. Martin's and Riverside, which is actually a rematch of a game we did last year. Riverside is another team to watch this season. They made it to the Dome last year, and they're going to have a really good team. Some other guys that I would say that we have, Jabari Antoine, who is one of the top cornerbacks in the state, plays quarterback for Westgate High School. We have a great matchup in September, Westgate versus Turlings Catholic. Antoine recently committed to Miami, and he's an electric player to watch, a lot of fun, looking forward to that game. And then a couple of teams, like Shaw and University High, by the way, just absolutely loaded, including Keelan Moses, the linebacker who's headed to LSU. He's the younger brother of Dylan Moses, who went on to play at Alabama. But Keelan is one of top players in the state. Get an opportunity to see him. Their quarterback, Emil Picarella, who is a really outstanding player. Certainly has a chance to play some big-time college football. And then a team, we really haven't had them in a long time, but in September we got Archbishop Shaw. And Shaw has really built up their program. In fact, they got a couple of wide receivers that are heading to Michigan, and Jacob Washington and Jasper Parker. And so looking very, very interested to see them play. They're taking on Rummel. That will be a very interesting game. Always a fun game when you get a couple of Catholic schools together in New Orleans.
You get that Catholic League going. It's big time. It's big time with lots of history.